once in a while it just flukes and says, I don't have permission to record, error 502. This time it worked again, but one time it happened like 3, 4 times. And Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Airiyanam, Namo Uvajayanam, Namo Loe Savasahunam. Jai Jinendra sabhi ko. We are doing Vitrag Vigyan Patmala Bhag 2. And I think we have done, did we do Teen Lok yet?
We have yet to do. That's
Mm,
what we are going to start.
So where are we?
We need to start the teen law. We need to start
Oh,
teen
we
law.
did Char Anuyog. Okay, good.
Charani, yes.
All right. So let's start with Teen Anuyog. All right. So let's see. Who remembers what are the 4 Anuyogs?
Yeah,
Pratamani Yoga, Charanani Yoga, Karanani Yoga, Dravyani Yoga.
Good. Let's see. That was only 3, right? Who is going to tell me the 4th one?
I think he said 4, right? Pratamanu Yoga, Karananu Yoga, Charananu Yoga, and Dravyanu Yoga.
Okay. Oh, by the way, we're missing the lady from India.
Nidhi.
Unless this Jaina is the one. What was her name? Sorry.
Nidhi.
Nidhi, right. Anybody wants to?
Yeah,
Maybe that is Nidhi, I think, the one that says Vasu. Or do we have Vasu in class? Nidhi ji, आप join हो गए क्या? I think that is her, probably the wrong name. Okay. Jaina, are you a new student by any chance?
Baji, I'm on Drupal on another one, but I'm not sure what's coming up for me.
No. Yours is coming Drupal.
Okay, got it.
That's fine. There's a Jaina. Just curious. Can you turn your video on, Jaina?
I've joined through my computer now.
Oh, that's Arun.
I have to log out of my phone, so I was having some issues with my computer.
Getting feedback here. Anybody has 2 things joined in there?
Yeah, I've shut it off. I was having issues with the computer, so I logged
All
it
right,
through phone.
that's fine. That's probably why it was doing it. Okay, so DPG is here, and oops,
This is not here.
Jenna away looks like. Sorry about that. Okay. Anyway, so Viraj, Teen Lok. What which Anuyog you think it is?
I'm sorry?
Karanani Yoga.
Chapter Teen Lok. Wait, I'm asking Viraj. Teen Lok. Which Anuyog is it? They just told you the 4 Anuyog, right? Okay, so what is Anuyog? Let's quickly summarize for Viraj's sake.
It's a style of explaining.
Four methods.
Four
methods to describe Jainwadi.
Exposition.
And Jinvani plus what do each Anuyog, what does it take you towards?
Vitragta.
Yes. So this is 4 different styles of explaining the Jinvani that is supposed to take you towards Vitragta.
Mm-hmm.
And then we studied each one of them, what it contains. Pratmanuyog is primarily stories of special people who attained moksha. Karananuyog is Jain geography, karma, theory, and all those things. Charananuyog is what you should be following in terms of Vrat, Upvas, Tap, Tyag, all those things, and Dravyanu Yoga is the tattvas, and so we read a little more about it. Dravyanu Yoga, you can prove to yourself. Karnanu Yoga, no, you take it as is, and like that. So now, after this, what do you think is Teen Lok?
Heaven, Prithvi, and hell.
Three loks, Madhya
So-
lok.
Karnani Yoga. Karnani Yoga.
One of the Anuyog has changed geography. Wait,
Right.
now nobody answer. Viraj, which Anuyog is that?
Which Anu yoga is that?
I just gave a brief summary of all the four different styles.
Oh,
You were supposed to do all the makeup videos.
Karnana, your exposition or description of the three lokas and everything in it.
Okay, good job. You got it. Hey, Rupal, are you helping him?
Thank you, Rupal. No, we're not together. She's somewhere else.
Not together.
Good. Okay, good. All right. Okay. So what I do now is I just distribute who will read ahead of time, so that way we can do it in a flow. Okay. So now Dinesh, you can read the Acharya Gadapich Umaswamy unka jo लेखक का first part. Then
Dinesh P or Dinesh B?
okay, you guys take a pick. I guess I just said Dinesh, whichever one wants to do it.
I don't mind starting.
Okay, fine. You do it. Okay. Now, Teen Lok, then Chhatra, Viraj can be Chhatra, and Adhyapak will be Arunji. Since these two people were not in the last class, we'll let them read today. All right. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so chapter 5, this is Teen Lok, 3 worlds. Acharya Gridhapicha Umaswamy Tattvartha Sutra Kartaram Gridhapichopalakshitam Vande Ganindra Sanjata Mumaswamy Munishwaram.
Oh, absolutely wonderful for that English. Okay. I'll still read it in the correct tune. Tattvartha Sutra Kartaram Gadapichopalakshitam Vande Ganindra Sanjata Muma Swami Munishwaram. Okay, go ahead.
So, having written the least in Tattvartha Sutra, I think that means he's written a small volume, right? So, having written a little unclear. Anyway, having written the least in Tattvartha Sutra, Acharya Gridhapicha Umaswamy has attained maximum popularity and the extent of familiarity the Jain community has with his work, Tattvartha Sutra. They are as unfamiliar with anything connected to his personal life. He was a disciple of Kunda Acharya. He was believed to have sanctified the land of India around the end of the 1st century and the beginning of the 2nd century of the Vikram era. Acharya Gridhapich Umaswamy is one of those illustrious acharyas who have earned complete authenticity and respect in the entire tradition of acharyas. Tattvartha Sutra of Acharya Gridhapich Umaswamy is as sacred to Jains as the Bhagavad Gita is to Vedics, the Bible is to Christian, and the Quran is to Muslims. It is known as the Moksha Shastra. This is the very first Jain scripture to be written in Sanskrit. This king of scriptures is included in the curriculum of all examination boards operated by the Jain community and is taught in all Jain schools across India. The following excerpt is based on the 3rd and 4th chapters of Tattvartha Sutra.
Okay. So hopefully you all have heard the term Tattvartha Sutra because Svetambars use it, Digambars use it. So it's, I don't know if you know, a lot of universities have Jainism as a subject or sometimes a department in India at least. And now even in the US, 35 universities now have either a department or a chair or at least a PhD fellow or something like that in Jainism. Okay. And usually Tattvarth Sutra is always part of the curriculum because it covers pretty much most topics of Jainism in that book. Now, Uma Swami was he was disciple of Kundakunda Acharya. Kundakunda wrote all the 5 Paramagams, right? And Param Agam means it is not, see, Agam has all the knowledge, which is anything from even Jyotish Shastra to astrology to Ayurveda, everything comes in Agams. Param Agams primarily have the knowledge of the soul, which is what is most relevant to us. So it talks from the real point of view. And that is what Kundakunda Acharya did. So he wrote the 5 Paramagams. Now, Uma Swami wrote, who was his disciple, he wrote Tattvarth Sutra, which is from the conventional point of view. So, which is sort of contradictory in a way, but what that also tells you is both are important, the real point of view as well as the relevant or point of view. Okay, so and then
so Prabhaji, you're saying that Tattvartha Sutra is so jo Kunda Acharya ne likha hai 5 Paramagam, those are the real point of view, and jo
yes,
Tattvartha Sutra hai wo dono mein se, that's real and
Vyavhar and Nishchay bolte hain. So Nishchay more focuses on the Dravya soul, and Vyavhar then talks about all the other Nimitta Karan, jaise Karm is Nimitta Karan, Teen Lok, Jain geography. A lot of these things are, not a necessary aspect if you going to moksha. Dravyanu Yog mein wo sab zaruri nahi aana.
So, Prabhaji, ye jo Tattvarth Sutra, how is it different than those 5 Paramagams? Is it a summary of those, or is it?
No, it's not a summary. It's I would say it has a lot more knowledge in some respect. It has a lot more variety of knowledge. Whereas the Paramagams primarily will focus on Navtattva, Nishchay, Vyavhar, primarily on the soul.
Okay. And Tattvarth Sutra is a little bit different.
The 5 Paramagams will not talk about Jain geography or karmas and those things. Okay?
Okay.
And Prabhaji, the original Agams were written in what language? The Agams. Does anybody still read it or?
Ardhamagde, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think because I went to Karnataka and a lot of them are written in
Prakrit, is it
old
Prakrit?
Kannada Bhasha also, actually. And then somebody picked them up and they translated because Kunda was traveling in the south. And lot of the Agams are in Prakrit because that was the local language at one time. Then the educated people were using Sanskrit. So the Pandits and that level of people were using Sanskrit. So then Acharya Amrit Chandra did his writings in Sanskrit. And then, of course, the other languages came out. So yeah, original Agams, there's a history that they were on leaves. They're not, I used to think it would be like you would pick up a leaf, like a dry leaf. No, it's not quite that kind of leaf. It's like a tad patra, which means if you think about it, like, banana leaf. Tad is something else, not banana. But if you would take that big banana leaf and you cut it into rectangle pieces, and then they would oil it, and there's a process that they would make these little, they look like big rectangles. And the story I heard there is that they would prepare these leaves and they would prepare these pencils sort of thing. Back in the days, it was only wood that was available to them. They would sharpen something and give it to the acharyas because they knew that acharyas have this deep knowledge of something. So they would provide that so that the acharya would then, he would make holes in those leaves and he would write the sutras. So, and I have seen those leaves. And then those leaves Now, still, I mean, there is so many books, and they are like put in a big, huge stack, each agam. And they still have so many agams to decode, basically. There's like, closets and closets full of those things.
So how old are these original agams?
What's that?
The original agams, how old are they?
How old they are? Okay.
Especially the Paramagams.
I think we are told that Kunda Kunda Acharya happened like 1,000 years after Mahavir.
No, because Acharya Umaswamy was 1st and 2nd century, and he was disciple of Kunda Kunda. So must be about 700 years after Mahavir Swami, maybe.
Possibly. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Acharya Kunda Acharya is the original writer of agams.
Of these Paramagams.
Yeah. Not the Agam, Parmagam.
Yeah. Now, I don't know in Shwetambar who is considered the author. Because in
There's also
Shwetambar
two things.
Parampara, the way it is Jambu Swami and everybody, the last, Kevali, it was word of mouth. There, then after 1,000 years, there was a conference, and all the acharyas got together, and whoever could remember whatever, and they made sure it matched, and accordingly, maybe both Shwetambar and Digambaragams were written. Point.
Yeah, there's a
I don't
difference
know if
because
there's a specific author over there.
because at the time of Kunda Kunda Acharya, these were oral compositions, right? And then uske baad mein, they wrote them down much later. So Kunda Kunda Acharya ke jo Paramagam hai, my understanding is that these were, mental or oral compositions, and they were transmitted then through all of his disciples. And then some point they were written, but I don't know when.
So that's the part I don't know. In this parampara, the reason Kunda Kundu is considered very authentic is because there's a story about him being able to go to Mahavidya Kshetra with his special labdi as a muni, being there for 6-7 days, actually first-hand listening to Simandar Swami, from the Tirthankar, and bringing that knowledge and writing. So that is, what is said about him.
But we don't have one book like all the other religions have one major.
That's what they're saying, that this Sattvar Sutra would come as close to as one, because it has most topics covered. So, and also the fact that all the sects of Jainism would agree on that book, so which is also good. Even though there was another one that was printed when can't remember, one of the Hindu gurus, somebody demanded, they wanted like Jains to come up with a book, and there is one that printed Saman Suttam, which I don't think it got that popular, but they did come out with that one book.
Yeah, that was Vinoba Bhave back in the 50s and 60s.
Right, Vinoba Bhave requested that from the Jains, and they did come up, a lot of acharyas, Shwetambar, Digambar, they got together and put together the Saman Suttam. So, okay. So this is about Jain geography, just simple basics of Jain geography. So let's start reading. Who was the other person I said?
Am I the student or?
Yes, you're the student.
Okay, so I'll start.
Mm-hmm.
Guruji, today in the lecture we heard that Kunda Acharya Dev went to pay his obeisance to Sri Simandara Bhagwan to the Videk Shastra. Where is Videk Shastra?
Kshetra.
The whole universe has been divided into 3 lokas, that is the worlds or realms. Where you and I live is Madhya Loka, the middle world. It has countless islands and oceans encircling each other. In the center of these is Jambu Dvipa, surrounded on all sides by Lavana Samudra, name of an ocean that has salty water. And circling this ocean is a landmass / island called Ghatki Khanda, G.
Dhatki. D-H.
Ghatki Khanda. Okay.
Dhatki, yeah.
Ghatki Khanda,
Okay.
which in turn is surrounded by
And remember, when there is no line above Khand, it should not be Khanda.
okay Khanda.
Okay.
Kalo
Kalodadhi.
Dadi Samudra, after which is Pushkarava Dvipa
Pushkarva.
and Puskarava Samudra sequentially. In this way, there are countless islands and oceans.
Mhm. Okay, just so you guys can refer, there's this picture on the right side, right page of the book, which shows that Lavan Samudra, the big, huge, salty ocean. So this Jambu Dweep is like a disc, right? It's in the middle of above the Narak and below the Swarg. And this is of course, there's more details to it, but so there's this ocean, and then there is so many mountains, rivers, islands, like that. So it's going to talk about those, the picture of it. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
That's where we are now. It's the same thing as saying it's
Yes,
Earth.
we are in
The
Jammu.
next page, it's back to student now.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing as saying Earth or the Middle Earth.
No, not Earth. Jambu Dweep is this whole big thing, and we are one part of it. So that's where we will learn where we are.
Okay. So we live in Jambu Dweep Island, but where does Simandra Bhagwan live?
He is also in Jambudvipa, but brother, Jambudvipa is not small. It is spread over 100,000 yojanas. 1 yojan equals 14 kilometers or 9 miles, a considerable measure to calculate distance. Right in the center is a round mountain called Sumeru. The circular Jambudvipa is divided by 6 great mountains which extend from east to west. They are Himvan, Mahahimvana,
Pant.
sorry,
Mahahimvant.
it says Vana.
One.
Vana? V-A-N-A?
In English,
Okay.
it is like
Mahahimvana,
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's one in Hindi also. Sorry, I was wrong. Okay. Mahahimvan. Okay.
Nisadha, Nila, Rukmi, and Sikhari.
Shukri, very good. Okay. So you should be able to find those in the picture on the right.
If these 6 extend from east to west, then Jambu Dweep must have been divided into 7 parts.
Mhm.
Yes, these 7 parts are called 7 Kshetras. Their names are Bharat, Hemvat, Hari, Videhe, Ramyak,
Hiranyavat.
Hiranyavat, Airvat.
Mhm.
Airavat.
And if it's Bharat, that's missing a line on the
Bharat.
A.
No,
So
it
should,
is actually Bharat.
should be Bharat Kshetra.
Bharat Kshetra is
Not
Bharat.
Bharat.
Even though our country we call it Bharat, but Kshetra is Bharat.
Bharat Kshetra.
That has no connection to the country India, right? Or
It does. It does. The Bharat country is in Bharat Kshetra.
it's in Bharat. Mhm.
And isn't it related to Bharat and Bahubali? Like that's how we get this name also?
Not sure, because that Kshetra remains the same whether, time and again. So not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So will Canada be deemed to be in Bharat Kshetra or different Kshetra?
Yeah, we are in Bharat Kshetra. And right opposite of us is Airavat Kshetra. But that's like a huge, like a space. Within that, there is so many things.
So whole world is deemed to be in Bharat Kshetra.
Like our world.
Mm,
Earth.
not necessarily. There could be multiple universes in that. There could be multiple suns and moons and planets, and so
I was
it's
just talking
way
about
beyond
Earth,
our imagination.
landmass of Earth. Will that all be deemed to be within Bharat Kshetra or multiple Kshetras?
Yeah. So within Bharat Kshetra also, you could have multiple Earth, multiple Earth is just a planet, right? Just one of the 9 planets. So, and then within Earth, Bharat is just a very tiny little area. So, so the sun and moon that we see may not be the only sun and moon in Bharat Kshetra. There could be more.
Or it could comprise of multiple
Yes.
solar
Yes.
systems.
Mhm. Yes. So, okay, go ahead.
Now I understand the central part of Jambudvip is Videk Shestra, where Simandra Bhagwan is, but we, question mark.
Just south of this is Bharat Kshetra, where we live. Kundacharya was also born here, and he went to Videshetra.
Can't we go there too?
No, brother, didn't I tell you that there are huge mountains along the way? On top of each of these mountains is a large lake from which 14 rivers flow out in the 7 regions. These rivers are Ganga, Sindhu, Rohitasya, Harita, Harikanta, Sita, Sidoda, Nari, Narkanta, Suvarnakula, Rupiakula, Rakta, Raktoda. These rivers flow sequentially in pairs in each region from Bharat to Airavat, with the first one falling into the Eastern Ocean and the second one into the Western Ocean. This Madhyalok is also called Tiryaklok because it's positioned horizontally.
Mhm.
What
So
do
you
you
see
mean?
how there is like these kind of there's like 2 portions of each, and they're a little bit at an angle. So there's Vidya spans from east to west. Where is the right side one? And
Meru?
no, Meru is in the middle, but then there is Vidya Kshetra. So where it says Kshetra, that's the second part of the Vidya. So do you see how it's a little bit lopsided? It's not a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do you mean by that? Habitations are always horizontal.
Habitations of
Oh, that
Madhyaloka.
is wrong. Horizontal. Tirchi doesn't mean horizontal, does it?
It must be.
I'll have to double check on that one if it's a wrong translation.
Tirchi is angular.
Yeah, I thought so.
So according to the diagram, there's some angles there as well too. Like I said,
Yes. So that horizontal is wrong translation. Amitji, can you please make a note of it? Yeah, it should not say horizontal there. It should say angular or something else.
If we are to imagine this thing, like, we're talking of the Earth, which is small, and if we're talking of astronomy with all these moons and suns and everything, and then we are talking of these kshetras, which we can identify with Ganga Sindhu, or they are very much on the
cannot.
Earth.
Actually,
Like,
the
I'm
one
just-
that says Ganga Sindhu is not the rivers that exist in India right now.
Okay.
Okay, they are totally different.
Okay. So I mean, this is huge. This is like
It's
thinking
huge,
astronomy. Like,
beyond
this
our
is,
imagination.
you should not be thinking of Earth. Earth is just a
No,
little
even
minuscule
astronomy
dot.
cannot reach. It's a lot more than what astronomy can see.
this is considered like esoteric geography. Yeah, you can't try to relate it to the Earth.
Yeah.
We cannot imagine it. Is that what we're saying? We just can't imagine. The
So
form.
Basically, you cannot verify the physical existence of it using normal means.
yes. Yeah, so if it says the earth is not round, they may not be talking about the earth we are living in. It may say the earth is flat, but which earth they're talking about, we don't know. Because there's multiples of those.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
So is that me now?
Yeah, Madhyalok, that one. Yeah.
Habitation of Madhyaloka are horizontal, but not those of Adoloka, the lower world. They are one below the other.
What did you say? Adaloka.
Yes, yes. Just below this there are 7 narakas, hells, by the name of Ratna Prabha, Sarkara Prabha, Valuka Prabha, Panuko Prabha, Dhuma Prabha, Tamaha Prabha, Mahatma Prabha. They are stacked one below the other. These habitations are full of miseries. Habitations are like burrows and cavities. The climate, water, and air are incredibly foul. Inhabitants of these narakas are not only distressed by adverse external environment, but also have intense passions. So they are constantly fighting, attacking, and tearing into one another. What is hell? It is an abode of suffering. When people indulge in intense or severe sins, they are born into these narakas, hells. Those jivas born here are called narki, hellish infernals beings.
Sinners go to hells. Where do the virtuous ones go?
The virtuous ones go to Swarga, heaven.
Where are these heavens and how are they?
Heavens are in Urdhvaloka, upper world.
Are they horizontal or one below the other?
They are one above the other.
Wouldn't that be the same? Then the top is still. I mean, it just depends how you look at it. If I'm looking up.
But there's a connotation. Okay, so
Okay.
you
All
go
right.
above, you're going to the higher heaven. That's
Okay.
There is a mistake in the name, I think. It says Udarvaloka.
Urdhva. It should
No.
be URDH.
No, in English it is written Udarvaloka.
Udarva, yeah, that's wrong then. Urdhva. It should be Urdhva.
Yeah, should be Urdh.
Is that though? Because Urdhva means upside down, and here it's
No,
translating
no,
up.
Urdhva just means
Urdh is upward bound.
upward bound.
Okay, in reverse, because we use that in yoga when you do Urdhva. Okay, all right.
Actually, upward bound is Urdhgami. So Urdhva is just upward.
Yeah, it's the upper lok. Upper world, lower world, and the middle world. That's how they call it.
All right. There are 7 naraks. What about the swargs?
There are 16 Swargas, heavens. Their names are Saudharma, Aisana. Did I pronounce it right?
Eshan, yeah, barabar.
Aishan. Sanakumara Mahindra.
It should
Brahma,
be Sanat Kumar. There should be a T in between. Is it Sanat or Sanat
Yes,
Kumar?
Sanat
Sanat
Kumar.
Kumar
Is it
Mahindra.
Sanat or Sanat? Usme
It
Sanat.
should be actually Sanat. I have heard Sanat. I know in the Hindi book I see Sanat.
Yeah, it is Hindi mein Sanat Kumar Mahendra.
Huh.
Mahindra.
Mahendra,
Okay.
not Mahendra, but Mahendra.
Mahendra, yes.
Even in English, it's a mistake. It's Mahindra, not
Mahendra.
Mahindra.
Okay. Honestly,
In
what
English.
would be, I have heard more like Sanat Kumar Mahendra, but I can confirm which one is wrong, English or Hindi. Okay. All right.
Sanat Kumar Mahindra. Brahma Brahmotra. Lantava Kapishta. Shukra Mahasukra. Satara Sahasratara. Anath Pranata.
Pranat.
Arna Akyuta.
Mhm.
Above them are 9 Grevekya, higher levels of heaven,
Mhm.
9 Anudisa, highest order of heavens, and 5 Anutara, highest order of heavens. Vimana, celestial chariots. Sarvat Siddhi is the 5th Vimana of these 5.
What
Okay,
is
so the heavens are same like this. They're just they're really they are in pairs. So like, okay, so if 16, there's and there's a middle line, and then next to each other, like Sanat Kumar and Mahendra will be next to each other like that, and then you go like so many levels. Okay.
So इसमें 16 स्वर्ग लिखे, but they put them in pairs. जैसे
They put them
Saudharma,
in pairs.
Dikshan,
Yes.
Sanat Kumar, Mahindra. So
So
why is
the
that in there?
7 are in pairs. So there is this one horizontal line divided into 2.
Okay, so they're okay.
Right. And then the 9 above are single, like that.
So 16 plus 9, फिर उसके ऊपर और भी 9, and then 5 above that also.
Right.
So Anudish and Anuttara, that's the highest. And then उसके बाद में ये जो विमान लिखा है, it just something is missing in the so 5
Sarvat
Anuttara.
Siddhi is the topmost layer. And as the higher the swargas, the more spiritual, like people with Samyak Darshan, they end up in those higher swargas. But otherwise, going to Swarg is not a big deal. Like somebody like Bill Gates or kaun hai wo Meta ka guy, whatever, Zuckerberg, all these people, they're donating so much money. Any little bit big deal, good deed you do, you could end up in heaven, as long as you don't do something major bad either.
Yeah, I'm just asking it technical in the text. So it says 5 Anuttara, highest order of heavens, and then there's no comma or anything. It just says Vimana. Uske baad mein. So Vimana is the highest level. Anuttara ke
No,
upar Vimana.
okay, it says 9 Anudish and 5 Anuttar Viman.
Oh, it's Anuttar Viman. Okay.
No.
Okay, so that's one thing. So the Anuttar Viman is the highest, and usse the highest of everything is Sarvartha Siddhi.
So our highest of those 5 is Sarvartha Siddhi.
Okay. So Anuttara Viman.
The fifth Viman.
Is it possible for us to look at the image that is given and just try to understand this? Because
I'm sure you can, if you Google it, you should be able to find it. If somebody wants to Google and just share it here. I don't know if you've been to any temples in India. They all have these big pictures of Teen Lok and everything. So let me see.
I've been to Daidweep in Indore, right? So
Yeah.
they had Jambu Island.
sorry,
Jambudweep.
I meant the one in the book, the circle in the book.
Oh, circle in the book. What did you want?
Well,
That is
whatever we
only
are reading.
Madhya Lok, so you won't see the Swarg in there.
Oh,
Right, correct. The
oh,
Jambu
okay.
Island.
So that is just
That's
the.
only the Jambudweep.
Jambu
Yes.
Island.
Oh, got it. Sorry. Okay, got it.
But if you care to look at this,
Yeah, there is one image that I posted in the chat here, which is
Yeah,
the Teen
there
Lok
is.
Nakasha.
Yes, there is.
It's
This one is pretty good. I don't know. Let me see if I can share with you guys.
Well, there's
Okay,
one I
I
put in
have
the
it
chat. I don't know
up.
if you can- Amiji, can we share that? Or
I'm gonna share it. This one that I can see. Do you guys see it? Okay. Do you
yeah.
see it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's quite detailed, but do you see how these are in pairs that I was talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, those,
yeah.
yes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to see if I can further zoom in. Probably not, because this is already as zoomed as it could get. So, and then this up here is the Siddhashila, right? And then right below it is this Anuttar Vimans. So these are all the detail names given. And this Jambu Dweep or Madhya Lok is just this little line. Okay. And all this down below is all Naraks. So Narak is one over the other, like, or below the other, whatever way. And then Swarg is one above the other, but in pairs. Okay.
तो स्वर्ग तो फिर 16 से ज्यादा हो गए.
No, I think what they're saying is, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 यहाँ तक आ गए. And
But
then
उसके ऊपर फिर Anudish and
then
Anuttara.
yeah, it's 16 Swarg, and then they call these Vimans, the Anuttar Vimans. And then this is the, what was it called? The
Sarvastha Sthiti, that's the highest Viman.
Anudish. These are Anudish, 9 Anudish.
9
Vimans.
Anudish and then 5 Anuttara Viman. Yeah, on top of that.
And of which the Sarvastha Sthiti is the highest.
Here, yes.
So those 9 and 5 are actually not Swargas, but
They
something
are
higher than
part of
Swarga.
Swarg, but they're little slightly different in regions. Yeah.
Maybe those are not like जैसे भोगने के स्वर्ग नहीं है क्या वो? Maybe like the other swargs are for bhog, or higher purpose maybe.
There are differences, yes. So
Yeah.
like these topmost work, like here, these ones, they get hungry in like once in 6 months, and they get a little bit of amrut in their throat, and they're satisfied. And maybe that also doesn't happen here. They don't feel like, I mean, the topmost, they don't even feel like coming out of their bed or sitting, whatever it is. So they just have no itcha at all. So we may read a little more.
Is there a point of no return in any of these, or all of these?
No, from all the way, from everywhere you can return. Only thing there's point of no return is from Siddhasila, because you're forever happy, so you don't want to come back. So, but Swarg and none of this is like these, all you come back.
So
And
sorry, go ahead.
I believe the shape of that universe is supposed to be like a man standing with his arms to his side, right? They call it arms akimbo. Yeah.
Yes. And it is deep. It's like 3D. It's not, of course, like this, but there's a 3D picture also. If you Google, they'll show you. Yeah.
And this is one universe, but does Jainism say there are
No. This is not one. This is Jain. I guess you can call it universe in our sense, but
Cosmos, giant cosmos, I think.
Cosmos, right? It's called cosmos. But within this Madhya Lok, if our definition of universe it is the 9 planets and whatever else we call it universe, then there could be multiple universes within the Madhya Lok itself.
Yeah, but this diagram represents the totality of the Jain cosmos.
Jain cosmos.
There are no
outside of this is a Lokakash, where no living beings are there.
So there's no time and space outside of this. Outside of this. Yeah. Okay.
All the 6 dravya that we talk about is all within this.
Okay. When you're saying if we're talking about multiple universes, how we talk about it in physics, they would all be within this one cosmos.
No, they will be all within this one little line, this middle.
Oh, I see. Okay, all within that. Okay.
Yeah, all within just that much. So imagine, like, this whole thing is beyond our imagination. Even just this one, these 5 pegs or whatever this is showing, has multiple universes.
So is it possible?
I have shared a 3D picture and Teen Lok.
Yeah, there's a 3D picture also that, you can.
In the chart, I put it.
Right. And if you go to temples in India, you can see all kinds of, I have seen, in fact, even in Ayodhya, they have, I had seen this before, between Hastinapur and Mathura. There is a big, huge temple, one building which is shaped like this Jain cosmos. And you go and there is an elevator and you can go, each level is like one narak.
Oh, wow.
Dukh you would see there. I mean, they're like victorious, and then the second and like that, the whole thing. So it's pretty fun.
Where is that? Kahan pe?
This is between Hastinapur and Mathura. And I just saw this in the making in Ayodhya also. So Ayodhya, the temple, the Kambar Jain temple I was talking about, which is Adinath, because it is Adinath Bhagwan's Janmabhoomi also. So they are making a big complex over there also. And they also built this thing, the thing in the shape of a camel. Yes, those are definitely worth visiting and taking your kids to.
So quick question, Prabhaji. From any of these 16 Swargas or these Vimanas, is it possible for a person to go to moksha from there, or?
No. That's the whole thing about it, that it's so close, but you can't just jump up there.
So you cannot do anything which will actually improve your
only human life, right? Only human life you can
Only
do.
from human life and
also the karma bhumi, right?
Yes.
They have to come to the karma bhumi.
You have to come to the karma bhumi, take diksha, and only then you can go. So there is no escape. Did we read the full, or are we still missing a couple of paragraphs. Did you
It's kind
guys
of
get
hard to understand. If they're so blessed, why can't they do more to better their lot?
what?
People
No,
in the
there's
Swarga.
a very good reason for it. So you went to Swarg because you did so many of these Shubhkam. That's why they say Shubhkam is also not worth doing because they don't take you to moksha. That's the whole point of it. So Shubhkam cannot be equated to dharma. Okay.
Yeah.
So did
These are very precise concept. It's almost like razor's edge. You're walking
yes, exactly. That is the whole reason why you need to study Jainism is because it is really like a talwar ki edge jisko bolte hain, because that's why there is so much mithyatva. There is so many different paramparas and all kinds of stuff propagated, which sometimes I am like really surprised how some of these educated people continue to follow the paramparas, which is so trivial. It's to some of us that obviously those things cannot make sense, but people continue to do them and insist on them. So, okay. I think you still have to read
Couple
yeah,
more
couple of those.
paragraphs. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
finish that.
what is above that?
Above these is Siddhishala, where infinite siddhas, completely liberated souls are enthroned. Generally, this is the constitution of the three worlds.
Sir, we are not fully satisfied. Please explain in further detail.
What more can be explained in one lesson? If you are curious, try to learn in detail from Tatvarth Surta, Tatvarth Vartika, Trilokasara, and other Shastras.
So that's the answer. Read more. Okay. You can't get everything in this one little chapter. And there are agams and agams. There's a Tiloya Panatti agam, which is specifically on all this Jain geography. You will get to the nth level, how many, all the sizes, all the minutest details you can get in there.
But the question becomes, who wrote this or who gave that information? Kun Swami, or how does one know all of this?
So that may be again, like I said, the knowledge all came from Mahavir Bhagwan, and then verbally, kept coming down. And as the acharyas realized that now the memory is fading, then they all got together and then they wrote. So yes, you can take it with a little bit of grain of salt, but still it's mostly accurate because so many of them got together. So if one forgot, the other one would have remembered, and that way. So they all got together and wrote the outcomes like that. Okay. So that's all you can get out of that little chapter. So for more details, the Thought Sutra is in our syllabus when we get to it. But then there are also so many other, books that can be read on Jain geography.
Prabhandi, just quickly, and maybe this is not the right place to discuss, but is it possible that this Jain geography is actually figurative and related to the inner world, like the nadis and chakras and the sort of esoteric yogic bodies?
No. I know they relate to it, but I don't think so. Not really.
Okay.
So yeah, you cannot like press a button and take you to Swarg from your spine. I don't think so.
So interesting thing, Dinesh, is that theoretical physics does not rule out existence of such things, even the modern theoretical.
Yes, the theoretical physics still claims they don't know enough, and there is a possibility of more.
Yeah.
Yes, that is.
The string theory basically says that it is possible that there is a universe within the universe, and we just don't know.
Oh yes, actually, in my other class, one of the girls said she had read about this multi-universe theory also somewhere. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. No, you're right. The further you go in advanced physics, the stranger it becomes.
I mean, science is like a drop in the bucket compared to Jain knowledge. It's nothing. And Jain knowledge is coming from Kevali, so it is for sure like this. Versus science keeps saying something and keeps changing its mind again and again. So
Your
as
science is still experimenting and theorizing, right?
exactly. I mean, they're just
Anything is
doing a
not proven.
discovery. See, that's why science is called discovery. They are discovering what already exists. They're
But
not
the amazing
inventing.
thing is science is tending to converge where the religion already has reached. So
Yes. And
it's
which is
pointing in the right
fine.
direction.
I mean, it's like, how do you get to Kevali's knowledge? You can't. And I think science understands that. But you try to get to as much as possible. So, and that's how we should take scientific knowledge. I mean, that's one mistake a lot of people make these days, is that they don't want to believe in the Shastras just because it doesn't match with the scientific knowledge. So they don't understand that if it doesn't match, the science can be wrong, but the Shastras cannot be wrong. So, all right. So now let's go to the next chapter, Saptavyasan, which is now this one is differently. It's not a play. There's no two people. So more people can read this one. Okay, so let's see if we can divide it up. This is also very interesting chapter, actually. Okay, so the first person will read 3 paragraphs. First 3 paragraphs. Amitji, you can do that. Then the next person will do till the rest of the introduction of the author. Dinesh Burarji, or how about Dipali? You do that, the rest of the introduction of the author. Then the Saptavyasan page. Do they have English meanings of these two dohas?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so then Bahubali, you will take the first doha and its meaning in English. And Nidhi ji, you will take the second doha and its meaning in English. All right. So let's do that much, and then we'll again go around. I think. Or who did I say was going first?
Yeah, me for first 3.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Chapter 6, right? The Saptavyasan, 7 editions. Kavivar Pandita Banarasi Das Ji, biography and work. Pandit Banarasi Das Ji, who attained the highest honor in both the fields of Adhyatma and poetry, was an accomplished poet of the 17th century and was a scholar with experience of Atma. He was born in the Shrimal dynasty to Lala Kharagasena on the 11th day of the second half of the month of Magh on a Sunday in Vikram era 1643. He was named Vikramajit at birth, but while on a pilgrimage to Banaras, the birthplace of Bhagwan Parshwanath, he was named Banarasi Das. He was the only child of his parents. He suffered many ups and downs in his life. He faced financial difficulties many times. His family life was also not any better. He married thrice and had 9 children, 7 sons and 2 daughters, none of whom survived. Despite these extremely trying circumstances, forbearance did not shake because his state was one with Atma Anubhav.
All right.
First 3 points.
So you see how something to learn from. Okay. So this Banarsi Das ji, first of all, it talks about, where the Parshvanath ki Janma Bhumi hai. I went there. I went to that Parshvanath temple that they're talking about. So he went there and he was called Banarsi Das ji. He was a very good poet. And then later on, he got the self-realization. When he got the self-realization, he could separate himself from his family, whether it was wife or children, to the point where all the kids died and he was not affected. In fact, there's a story about him when one of his sons died, he cremated and came back and started doing pravachan immediately. And people asked, where did he go? And he said, oh, some guest had came, so I just went to drop them off. So he could take the reality of life so smoothly.
So,
That-
Auntie, what do you mean when you say he was self-realized?
Oh, he had experienced the soul?
But he has not gone. He has not reached Keval Jnana.
No.
So he's like an antaratma, like uttam antaratma.
Right. Antara.
Okay.
Or not uttam, or jaganya uttam, antaratma.
Jaganya. Okay.
So when you first get the realization or experience of the soul, you're only in the fourth gunistan.
Okay.
Then
Because sometimes people say self-realized and they mean they've gone to moksha, and
No,
that's
no,
not the case here, right?
No. Self-realized doesn't mean moksha. Self-realized just means that you realize you experienced yourself, which is the soul.
Okay.
And again, self-realized these days is used very loosely. You know, anybody who just knows a little becomes self-realized. No, that's not what we are talking about here.
Okay.
So
that's a good precision. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, go ahead, Dipali.
He was a born poet. By the age of 14, he began to compose verses of very high standards, but in his
You're
early life,
welcome to read it in Hindi, Dipali, if you want to. That's fine.
no, that's okay.
Okay.
But in his early life, he wrote poems on Shringara, love, romance. His first work, Navarasa, was ready when he was barely 14, mainly describing love. It was an excellent work of his genre, which he threw in the river Gomati after his conscious awakened. From there on, his life turned towards the spiritual path. 4 of his works that were composed after that have been found so far. They are Nataka, Samvyasara.
Samaysar, Natak Samaysar.
Yeah,
Remember,
Natak
the A
Samaysar.
without the line is not to be pronounced as A.
Natak Samaysar, Banarasi Vilasa, Namamala, and Ardha Kanthanak.
Kathanak, yes.
Ardha Kathanak. Is that it? Or should I?
You can finish, yeah. That.
Okay. Nataka Samaysara is, in a way, a verse translation on the Kalash verses of Amrit Chandra Acharya, but due to his keen insight and original prudence, one enjoys the study of this book like an independent work. This book is full of spirituality. Ardha Kanthanak is the first. Kathanak is the first autobiography in the Hindi language and an utmost mature work in itself. 55 years of his own life have been painted like mirror in that book. Banarasi Vilas is a collection of the poet's different compositions, and a Namamala is an anthology of poems. The poet is unmatched both in his poetic art and pursuit of spiritualism.
Okay. So, of course, again, the uniqueness of this author is that he wrote prose and poetry both. And once he got the self-realization, he understood spirituality, that became the topmost priority to him. And he felt, in fact, ashamed that he wrote those romantic novels or books or whatever he did, even though they were, seems like very good works, but he threw them in the river. I don't think that was necessary, but well, that was him. So, and then he figured, well, now that spirituality is the limelight of everything, he doesn't need those books written by him. And then Natak Samaysar, of course, Samaysar is the ultimate spiritual book. Usko unhone, he has written it as if it is a drama. So each of the dravya comes, does its thing, and then leaves. Realizes it's not like Jeev, so it goes. It's kind of quite interesting. It's kind of made the difficult book Samaysar to read it in a drama form. So that's how it is. And
I'll read the Satyavyasan, but I will read it in Hindi because English is going to be too tough.
That's fine, no problem.
सप्तव्यसन, जुआ, आमिष, मदिरादारी, आखेटक चोरी परनारी, एही सात व्यसन दुखदाई, दूरित मूल दुर्गति के भाई। दर्वित ये सातों व्यसन, दुराचार दुखधाम, भावित अंतरकल्पना, मृषा मोह परिणाम.
So now you see this, what he wrote is sort of Hindi, but not the current Hindi, right? It is like a either a dialect of the region he was from or Hindi from those times.
अशुभ में हार, शुभ में
Oh,
जीत.
is there an English translation in the English version?
Yes.
If you have it open, you can read that, Dineshi.
Okay. Well, the translations are below after everything. So
Oh, okay,
should
fine.
we?
That's fine. You can do. I was going to have somebody else read the Ashubh Mehar, but
Okay. Then I'll read the translation and then someone else. Okay.
right.
Gambling, consuming meat, drinking alcohol, visiting prostitutes, engaging in hunting, stealing, and having illicit relationships are the 7 vices which bring sorrow, the root of misfortune and degradation. These 7 vices are condemned for their immoral and painful consequences. They arise from deluded imagination and the allure of falsehood and attachments. Believing defeat in inauspicious or unfavorable and victory in auspicious or favorable is gambling. Reveling in the body is consuming meat. Ignorance due to intoxication of mithyatva is indulging in alcohol. Following the, is it?
Wait, did you?
Oh,
So
we
you're
haven't
done,
read it.
right? Wait.
No, I think
Now
I should
let
have
somebody.
stopped
You
at
should have
6.
stopped there. That's fine.
Yeah,
Don't
I'll
worry.
stop there. Yeah.
Whoever is the next person. So you get it, right? The 7 vices it talked about.
Can I just ask to clarify what he's saying? Uska meaning jo hai ki reveling in the body is consuming meat. So matlab, putting too much emphasis on the body is the equivalent of consuming meat, right? And ignorance due to so if you are in mithyatva, it's like consuming alcohol. Like he's equating those things.
हाँ, detail अभी बाद में आएगा, then we'll learn it more.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, we have
when we read each one, then it'll talk more detail about it. So right now we're just reading the translation of his Doha. Okay, who was going to do the Ashubh ke har? Was it Nidhi?
No, it's supposed to be me.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I need to read it in Hindi and then the translation one by one. I'm just putting the document side by side. So अशुभ में हार, शुभ में जीत, यह है द्यूत कर्म. Okay, this number is.
Maybe you can read the whole thing and then read. That's okay.
Yeah. So
actually, even though the same thing is again described when we read each one of them, but that's okay. Go ahead and.
So like I should be this. It's called number 7. It's a numbered 7. So I'll be reading from 7. So believing.
Oh, it's just saying this. Okay, then don't read right now. What you do is you just read the Hindi part and then somebody.
And then we need to read.
Then we'll read each one separately.
Yeah. Okay. So अशुभ में हार, शुभ में जीत, यह है द्यूत कर्म. देह की मगनताई, यह है मांस बकीबो. मोह की गहन साव, अजान ये सुरपान. कुमति की रीति गणिका को रस चखीबो. निर्दय है प्राण गात करबो, यह है शिकार. परनारी संग परबुद्धि को परखिबो. प्यार सौ पराई सौंज, गहीबे की चाह चोरी. ये है सातों व्यसन विडारी ब्रह्म लकीबो.
So this is where they So first he talked about the dravya, vyasan, then he talked about how they apply other ways also. And that's what we're going to read in detail now. Okay. So, Niti ji, you read the next two paragraphs.
Ma'am, English.
हिंदी में भी पढ़ सकते हो, whatever you're okay, but जो भी खुला है वो पढ़ लो.
Okay. The 7 addictions are gambling, eating meat, drinking alcohol, enjoying prostitutes, hunting, stealing, and adultery. To be deeply engrossed in the activity of any physical sense or a compulsive habit is an addiction. In this context, indulgence in bad habits is called addiction, and they are divided into 7 categories that mainly incites akulta, restlessness in jeev, and results in immoral behavior. As such, all habits that incite attachments, aversion, and restlessness are addictions. In fact, from the view of Nishchay, that is absolute truth, the real addictions are rag, dvesh, attachment and aversions, originated from mithyatva, erroneous belief, as that makes one forget the pure nature of Atma.
Okay.
Uh,
So you see, that is the main gist of this व्यसन. Okay. So वो 7 व्यसन तो बुरे हैं ही हैं, but anything that you cannot do without is व्यसन, which is addiction, right? So even if you're addicted to, I give an example of, suppose India में joint family है, and this daughter-in-law is trying to make khichdi today, one, evening dinner, khichdi kadi ban rahi hai. And the father-in-law says, no, 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 I cannot do without roti. So now you have to make 1 or 2 rotis. Now this poor daughter-in-law has to take out the atta and belan and chakla and the mess of the atta, the whole thing, just because the father-in-law cannot stay without the roti. So even that, I mean, of course, unless there's a health reason, that's different. But otherwise, just because he's used to something is as bad as an addiction. So there should be nothing that you cannot do without. Or your life should be such that you can adjust to any circumstance or situation in your life. So because even towards that roti, he has that rag. So much tivra rag that he cannot do without it. And then if it is not made one day, he would be upset about it. So that is creating dvesh towards the person who won't provide. So, so now we will read each one of them and then go from there. Okay, so I will quickly, there is like 7, right? So we'll quickly name 7 people. First will be Safalta, then Viraj, then Dinesh, and Dipali wala Dinesh. Sorry, then next is Dinesh Buran. I forgot your last name, sorry. And then Bahubali, then Nidhi, then Amit, and then back to Safalta. So you guys remember your order now, who you come after. Okay. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, I missed Dipali. So whatever the last paragraph, you will take Dipali. Okay, go ahead. You're on mute. Yeah.
Jua, gambling. Playing any game with money or any kind of money with an eye on winning or losing or doing any work by placing a bet or having hope of more profit by placing a bet or fear of loss is dravya jua, physical gambling. Considering victory in the fruits of punya and defeat in the fruits of pap is bhav jua. To renounce all such bhav is real abstinence from gambling.
So this is deep, okay? We consider Jua as going to Las Vegas and losing 100,000 or something like that, right? But no, that's not it. Even doing stock market, getting a, what do you call, promotion at your work that makes you elated, some promotion that you did not expect and you got promoted, you get so happy about it. all that is considered jua. So not being with yourself and being extremely happy in any kind of game or depressed, because person who will be elated by a promotion or getting a good job will also be depressed when they lose that job or don't find one. So both ways, it is jua.
That's really interesting. That really is pointing to samabhav, right? So
Yes.
which acha hua, so you don't be happy. Which bura hua, you don't be sad. But he's equating it with jua, which is really interesting.
Right,
Mm.
exactly. And it is. So think about it. What happens if somebody wins a lot of money in Vegas? You know, they go to Vegas, they think they've won 50,000. Oh, wow, 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 whatever, right? And then same thing if they lost. It's a very depressed feeling. And we do that day in and day out, right? We are a little sick. Oh, we're so depressed. Why me? This, that. And going to a party. Oh, I have so many friends and you're so happy. So we never take life, the word is sahaj, which is just in a neutral, natural way. Take it as it comes. Nothing to be too elated, nothing to be too depressed. So people who are spiritual are very sorted in life. They, things don't bother them easily. They're very balanced. And that's where we need to be. That should be our goal. So just keep that in mind, that, whenever you're extremely happy about something, that is like jua, or the other way around too, Sam. Okay.
So which one is vyavhar and which one is nischay here?
Oh, isme nischay vishay, not really. This is mostly all vyavhar, I would say. Nischay se to just being in your soul is nischay. So in this case, yeah, it won't quite
These
apply.
are the kashayas. It's kind of mityatva here.
Mhm, mhm. So, okay, chalo, next one, whose turn is it?
Mas khana, non-veg eating, being inclined towards consuming and eating the flesh of animals either killed for food or already dead, is dravya mas khana, physical non-veg eating. To be obsessed with the body, to believe the good health of the body is good for me, in brackets, the soul, and to believe the weakness of the body is bad for me. The soul is bhav mansar, psychic non-veg eating. But shouldn't you try to be in good health? I'm not saying to eat meat, but
No, okay. So, but being obsessed with it, okay? So you
The
should
word is
be in
obsessed.
good health, but how we get to that point where, like, oh, I'm fat and I'll go through whatever I can to get to be slim, just to be good looking, that type of thing is what they're talking about. I mean, being extremely attached to this temporary body to make it look perfect and all that.
Yeah. You have to keep the body healthy so you can engage in spiritual practice. But I think the key word here is the obsession, right? So going to the gym twice a day or eating only certain, these sort of obsessive qualities, right? To think you're going to do that daily.
There is people who don't eat and they get all those different diseases, anorexia and whatever they call them, just because they're trying to get slim and, just being obsessed. So those who will focus so much on the body, obviously soul is too far away for them. And that's the point here. That see, why would somebody eat meat? Because they're so obsessed with just the physical form and eat whatever. And so this is the same kind of obsession with the body, is that to make it look good, I will do whatever it takes. And the obsession with food to the point where I don't care even if somebody's getting killed, I will eat whatever is available, possibly available. In fact, It's a bad example, but I thought it was kind of pretty weird. Somehow this meat eating, drinking, a lot of these things were associated with wealth. ओके अभी जैसे इंडिया में है बेचारा गरीब इंसान तो मीट नहीं खाएगा राइट या शराब नहीं पिएगा सो थोड़ा पैसा आ जाएगा तो वो सब इस तरह के काम करेगा एंड my husband used to travel to China, Taiwan a lot for his work at one time. And it's pretty gross, but he found out that there they would even eat baby fetus because they're so beyond, like now eating snake or eating whatever else they eat was not good enough. So yeah, now you got wealthier, so you get to that level. So think how it makes you feel. I mean, that obsession to that level.
Mhm.
So that you should get that feeling that mass bhakshan is that wrong obsession that you need to stay away from. Okay. So
I think this one is mine, the third one. Just one thing, in the second one, usme, if we're saying it's mas khana, to the line on the A is missing in the mas a couple of times.
Okay. Is Amit able to, are you able to please make a note of those?
Yeah,
Thank
and
it's there twice. So yeah.
Yeah, we need to.
Three times actually. Yeah. Okay. Number 3 is madira pan, drinking alcohol. To consume liquor, hemp, marijuana, cannabis, etc. intoxicants is dravya madirapan, physical intoxication. So not just liquor, but anything that intoxicates. And to remain ignorant of the self due to moha, delusion, is bhava madirapan, psychic intoxication.
Okay, so here it needs a little more explanation because, so, alcohol is bad, of course, because it takes your mental attention away. So anything that can make you forget your own self is considered bad, right? तो आत्मा में तो खैर आप जा ही नहीं सकते शराब के नशे में, but even your normal senses, you are not in your normal senses. So anything that can take your normal sense away is wrong to do. Secondly, even I used to at one time, not that I drank, but still I would argue that alcohol doesn't have, it's only ekendriya jeev, which a lot of us think it is only ekendriya, it's only fruit juice with fermentation. But it is not. It is actually a lot of more than one sense beings in there. So anyways, that becomes a bhakshya for Jains if we restrict ourselves to ekendriya hinsa.
Sorry, how is that more than ekendriya in the alcohol?
They say in the process of making alcohol, there is some that are visible, some that are not even visible. ऐसे जीवों की उत्पत्ति होती है in the process of making alcohol. And I have actually been to a winery where when I saw the process, it was, they're putting the grape juice and it's getting fermented and there's all kinds of flying insects falling into it and they don't care. That's not their problem. So it is not a very clean thing, even though after that it's all what do you call, blended and makes clarified and whatever. But in the process, that happens.
So Prabhaji, what about tea
it
and
looks like
coffee?
it's clear and clean, but the process is pretty hinsak, I guess.
Prabhaji, will the tea and coffee be deemed to be part of the intoxication?
Yes. Yes. Anything you cannot do without. And definitely tea and coffee are intoxication because if people who are addicted to them, they get headaches or different side effects of it. Now, you could be, for example, me, I could drink tea for 6 months every single day or twice a day. And next month, 6 months, I can quit and it does not bother me. So that will not come in the addiction category or intoxicated because it's not taking me over. So I can choose to either drink or not drink and I won't be bothered. But if it is, taking you over, it's an addiction, you cannot do without coffee every morning, then yes, that is addiction, and that is to be looked at that way. So then they said, yeah.
But you're talking about the whole thing with the wine, the liquor, and all of that. The same thing happens even with vegetables now, right?
Of course, yes, there is hinsa in vegetables because there's, well, nowadays, I don't know when they spray the pesticides, do they actually kill those jivas? I don't know. But in the old days, when things are organic, you would get the, what do you call, a 2 cents being in the middle. If you cut bhindi, that's why you had to be very careful when you, chop the vegetables. So you don't get, nowadays you don't get them because they spray the pesticides. So those jivas, don't even get into the food, into the vegetables. But yes, if they're organic and they can have, like in the old days, a lot of people did not eat cauliflower because cauliflower would have moving beings of the same color.
In the flowers.
It's hard to get them. So yeah, that is true. And that is the main reason that Jains limit themselves to ekendriya hinsa, not more than that. So you try to avoid as much as possible anything that has a possibility of more than ekendriya hinsa. So, and then Madira Pan is also moh mein padkar Atma Swarup se anjan rehna bhav Madira Pan hai. Which we all do, living our mundane lives. We don't think about our Atma Swarup. We're so busy, eat, drink, and be merry that, we don't think about our own self.
So basically, we're intoxicated with the physical world.
Yes, we are. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Who is next?
I can go. Okay.
Was it you? You don't remember? Okay, so who said I? Is that Bahubali?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Veshagamana karna, enjoying
Veshyagaman.
Veshagamana karna, enjoying prostitutes. To seek pleasures with a prostitute, visit her place and associate is dravya veshagamana. Physical enjoyment of prostitutes. The desire to engage in false intellect is bhava veshagamana, psychic prostitution. That is to leave one's own pure nature aside and to engage in intellect, in worldly pleasures and passions, Veshakashaya. Desire to know and enjoy non-self things is indeed bhava vesharamana, psychic prostitution. A prostitute abandons after destroying wealth, health, and honor, but mithyamati, false intellect, erroneous beliefs, crushes the dignity of Atma and pushes him into the endless sorrows of Nigoda for eternity, lowest cadre of life with only one sense.
You are muted.
I said this is even deeper now. So the fact that one does not think of its own self is being so okay. So Vaishya is being with anybody other than your own spouse, right? So here they're talking about being with anything else other than your own self, which is your soul, right? Is equated with Vaishya. And why is that? Because just like being with another and it's somebody else other than your spouse gives you opposite of fame, whatever that would be, and gives you destruction of money, health, lot of things. Same way, being in this worldly life with Vishay Kashay will give you the lowest level of life form, which is Nikod.
So, Prabha, at the beginning of this class, we were talking a little bit about travel. So, यहाँ पे जैसे लिखा है, विषय कषाय, desire to know and enjoy non-self things. So if we desire to travel, we want to go places, this is considered Vishaya Kashai, because
Definitely.
we are craving to know about anything that is not the self.
Exactly. Yes. And actually, it's kind of funny, but Kevali can see the whole world, can see the past, present, and future. And even we ourselves, our soul, has been through every single spot. It's like we have taken birth on every little dot of this universe. So, what is there we have not seen? Just because we don't remember it right now, we feel like we need to see this and we need to see that.
But that's any activity in life, though, right? That's like it's not just travel, but unless you're a Muni, there's any activity.
Any activity, yes, yes. So this happens, like people then who are more spiritually inclined, they lose that attachment or of I have to see this. Like we went to Australia, right? Uh, so there's different types of people. One is, okay, you got the opportunity, you went, you're happy if you went, you didn't go also, you're okay. Then there are that other category who are, they have to tick off. Okay, I saw this. Australia done. South America done. Whatever done. Like they just want to go because they have to reach so many spots. Some will go because they have this extra money that they need to somehow spend. And travel is one way to spend it. So there's all kinds of reasons. But something to think about. What are you losing in return? So just this morning, I said in my class, my Parmagam teacher, Rajesh sir, who, I was the first batch and he was the teacher. I went to India this time and I usually try to get in touch with him when I'm there. So he was like, I thought we were just here a few months ago. And I'm like, yeah, that's correct. And he's like, how much travel do you have to do? He was not happy that I came again in a little bit. So, he always tries to promote that, stop all this unnecessary travel and focus, on your soul. And only that is worth doing. And so, I mean, of course, I had to explain to him I had a reason for it. My mom is still there and she's old and, I have to go visit her and all. But yeah, I mean, that's what one should be. Once you're spiritually inclined, your desires to unnecessary travel and those should go down.
So pursuit of any hobbies, etc., also will fall in that category then.
Yeah, I mean, there's no better hobby than this. I could spend my whole day reading and listening to this. There's no boredom ever. I was stuck in India for 5-6 months during COVID. You cannot get out of the house, and I was not even in my house, but I was not bored for even a second. People used to call me from here. It's like, oh my God, you got stuck. I'm like, no, I'm not stuck. I'm fine. I'm doing the same thing I would do otherwise. It's great. I mean, you have an interest in this. You don't need other hobbies. You don't have time to get bored because it's about you. You get up in the mirror or leave alone mirror. Okay, you see a picture, group picture. Where is your focus?
Yourself.
Yeah. You want to see, did I come good? Is my eyes closed? Am I smiling? So everybody likes about themselves. So this is study of the self. So it should be interesting, right?
So, Prabhaji, if anybody is interested, there's some interesting lectures by Swanibhuti on Samesar. It's a series of 25 lectures.
I would not recommend that because you guys will be lost.
It makes interesting listening because it puts a context to whatever we are learning.
Okay, if
we
you
won't
think
understand
you're
100%, but
confused
I
by
found it
all,
very interesting.
go ahead. That is fine. I mean, she has a lot of other topics, very interesting ones too.
She's quite knowledgeable and she holds your interest.
And she does it in a nice professional way, which is great. Yeah, she has a lot of other topics too. So But yeah, if you can digest it, because samay sar is not something you want to like start out with, because then you can possibly get confused, because that samay sar is with the dravya drashti. It doesn't talk about
He
the other.
explains it quite well. More than anything else, it does provide a context to whatever we are learning, right?
Which is
So,
fine. I mean, if it doesn't confuse you, that's fine.
Yeah.
So, okay. So who is next?
I can go.
Okay.
Shikar Khelna.
Mhm.
Just in the English one doesn't have a dash on top of a. It's Khelan.
Elna.
Hunting. Yeah, it needs that.
Yeah, it needs that dash and a khelna.
To kill wild animals like bears, tigers.
Does it just say in one word hunting, or does it actually say khelna also?
No, it says Khelna, but the A doesn't have a dash, and then in bracket it says hunting.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I need to, we need to send, if possible, please put them all in one email, and then I'll just have our ChatGPT guy look at it.
To kill wild animals like bears, tigers, deer, boar, etc., mercilessly, who freely roam the forests, as well as small birds with guns or any other weapon, and feel happy about it, is dravya shikar, physical hunting. And to kill one's conscious life force, chaitanya pran, by doing such things out of intense attachment is essentially bhav shikar, psychic hunting.
Mhm. So basically, you get the point, right? Of course, most chains don't get involved in hunting, and also that's not something we need to be worried about. But then it says that anything that we do with intense attachment or aversion is equally bad. Because when would you feel like killing an animal? You have to be very intensely, like a negatively passionate in order to do something like that. So, anything you are intensely involved in is equally bad as hunting, is what they're trying to say. So, Chaitanya Prano ka ghat karna. So basically, same thing, ignoring yourself and doing other things that involve non-self.
Could you give some examples of this? Like,
Um, some people are not going to like this, but like, let's say you are unnecessary traveling and not being in class, right? Ignoring yourself and let me just roam around the world.
We are all guilty, so
the rest of the class can just be happy. They just didn't do it, right? But I mean, as we read along, I guess you guys will be able to tell yourself, what are the things that, like for example, if let's say, for a change, if I am watching YouTube shorts, right? And if my husband catches me doing that, he will point out, he's like, what are you wasting your time doing, And then I would like, oh my God, you're always checking on me, aren't you? So, but it's okay. I mean, we don't think about it, but that is very true, how much time we can waste doing those kind of things and not being with ourselves. Now, there's two things. One is, that doesn't mean you force yourself that this is what you've been doing all along, and now every little thing you do, you have to catch yourself. No, I cannot do this. No. Bottom line is, accept that this is the way I am right now. I'm a Ragi Jeev. I have these passions, but my goal is to reduce them. So, it's not like about pushing yourself to not do those things, but it should naturally come with the correct understanding.
I have an example that's related to our travel example, since we're talking about that. But I have a friend, a good friend, old friend, and he he wants to visit every country in the world. He's already been to maybe 150. And that's what he lives for. He makes only enough money to do that. So in a way, it's like hunting, right? He's hunting his next country, the next thing, and just to check up on that list. So it's kind of like this Veshagamana, right? This Vishay Kashai. But
he has no other, he has no
more
sense of
intense.
self, and he's just out there, hunting for this country, then hunting for that country, and it's like pointless. At the end of the day, what do you gain?
Yeah, and it's doing it out of intense attachment to this travel. He thinks it's bringing him happiness, and yeah.
There are people who will say, I just live for travel, or I live for, whatever their passion might be. Some people are into climbing, some people are into ocean diving, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Especially in Western countries, you see that a lot. People have these intense hobbies.
So
every
you can
weekend
tell
or every
how
month they're doing it.
far away they are from spirituality. You think they're ever going to even come close to it? No. Unless, of course, something, they get a nimit and they turn around. That's different. But yeah. So, okay. All right. Now, Safalta and Nidhi ji, you guys there still? Okay, Nidhi, you go next.
Pars 3 Raman, adultery. Leaving aside one's officially wedded spouse to have romantic relations with other women is vice known as the Dravya Pars 3 Raman, physical adultery. Without trying to understand the tattva, a sense, considering the effectiveness of one's intelligence only in evaluating others' intelligence is bhav parstri raman, psychic adultery.
So this is more like, you have all these different kinds of knowledge. So you think that is more important. You know a lot about the news, or about a topic, and all that is, anything that takes you away from the soul knowledge is, again, bhav adultery. Because soul is your should be your only support system, your clothes, whatever, right? So anything you do other than that is bhav adultery. Now, again, when we read these things, these are to make you feel the importance of the soul. But that is not to say now, just starting tomorrow, stop life and, feel guilty about whatever you're doing. That is, not the intent here. But as we read through this, we should get the sense of low importance of the things, mundane things we do in our lives versus spirituality. So, and once you get the sense of it, automatically things less exciting, things, mundane things that we feel all excited about currently are not as exciting, and slowly they dwindle down. Once your interests are not as much like before, you would do whatever. When you're younger, oh, even if I get 2 days, like every weekend we had to go out of town because, as if we were just so looking forward to going somewhere. That's not the case anymore. It's okay if we went, if it didn't, it's okay. So that's what it is supposed to do, is to reduce your passions. All right. So next, who is left? Safalta, did you read? Or she's not there anymore?
I had to drop off. She just sent a message on WhatsApp, right? That she couldn't
Okay. Arunji, are you there? I know jiska video on hota hai, then I don't feel like
Yeah, I'm having some issues. It says this is streaming on live on YouTube, and that's why my video is shut off, I think.
Okay.
So
No
this
problem.
computer is doing something which I don't know. So
It's okay. You can read the chori karna part.
sure. Want me to read it in Hindi or English?
Whatever, it's your choice.
Let me just try to go to Hindi. चोरी करना, प्रमाद से बिना दी हुई किसी वस्तु को ग्रहण करना द्रव्य चोरी है। यह प्रीति भाव, मोह भाव से पर वस्तु से साझेदारी की चाह रखना, अपनी मानना ही भाव चोरी है।
ओके, सो यहाँ भाव चोरी क्या हुई कि एनीथिंग, इवन शरीर हमारा जो हमारा नहीं है उसको हम मैं मानना, या अपने बच्चों से साझेदारी करना, किसी जिस चीज को भी अपन मोह रखते हैं, प्रेम रखते हैं, उसके लिए हम कोई भी गलत काम करने को तैयार हो जाते हैं इन जनरल, राइट? तो प्रमाद से, एवरी टाइम दे से प्रमाद, इट मीन्स नॉट बीइंग विद योरसेल्फ, ठीक है? सो जहां प्रमाद भाव होता है उससे किसी वस्तु को ग्रहण करना द्रव्य चोरी है. So if the body Pudgal is not me, not mine, and if I think it's me or mine, that is like Dravya Chori. Now, another example is which people don't think, when we drink milk, right? The cow produces milk for its baby. And when we take it away, we are basically doing chori. It belongs to the cow's baby, but now we took it away. So same way, anybody you have more bhav towards and you think it is yours is bhav chori. And so think about it, America may, whenever I remember when I was new and I would tell people that we don't eat meat, or, oh, why don't you eat meat? Animals are put on this earth for us to eat. Think about it. That's the kind of thinking they have. उनको लगता है कि it's their right to do that. So, no, we don't have a right or anything else except our own self. Okay. Dipali, you finish the rest of the chapter.
इन 7 व्यसनों को त्यागे बिना आत्मा को नहीं जाना जा सकता है. जिसे संसार के दुखों से अरुचि हुई हो और आत्म स्वरूप प्राप्त कर सच्चा सुख प्राप्त करना हो, उसे सर्वप्रथम उक्त 7 व्यसनों का त्याग अवश्य ही कर देना चाहिए, क्योंकि जब तक एक भी व्यसन रहेगा सम्यक दर्शन की प्राप्ति नहीं हो सकती. आत्मरुचि से आत्म स्वभाव की वृद्धि में आनंदित होने से भाव व्यसन सहज छूट जाते हैं. ये 7 व्यसन वर्तमान में भी प्रत्यक्ष रूप से दुखदायी जगत नित्य है. व्यसन सेवन करने वाले व्यसनों और दुराचारी कहलाते हैं.
So देखो, so this is one main reason to quit. Well, hopefully we don't do any of the other things except possibly alcohol drinking. So what it is saying is that this is the base, in agriculture, right? Before we can grow something, what do? You make the soil, what do they call that process?
Tilling the soil.
Tilling and preparing the soil, right? If you don't prepare the soil and you put the seed, it's not going to grow, right? So not having the 7 vyasans is like preparing the soil to put the bead. Samyak darshan is considered the seed towards moksha. So in that sense, that it is important to not have any of these vyasans, at least not the dravya ones.
So it's very similar to the Pancha Mahabharat, right? I mean, it's a
Right,
little more
right.
detailed. But
So
so same thing like in yoga, if you don't do yam and niyam, which is the Pancha Mahabharat, you
Yes.
cannot go to higher states of yoga. So if you don't prepare, as you say, prepare the soil, nothing will stick, right? These beej of samyak darshan, there's no place for it to grasp.
Exactly. So you have to have at least a base level, honesty, non-killing, not extreme attachments, not extreme aversions, for any of this knowledge to sit with you. So that is the reason. And let's say if you were drinking today, at least you start with not thinking it is the right thing to do. Okay? And then slowly it will come that you wouldn't need to.
Or if you're consuming dairy products and you have not become yet vegan, at least understand what you're doing is wrong.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And then hopefully one day you'll have the courage and the strength to say, I don't need this anymore.
Yes. Yes. So, so again, Jainism doesn't teach that, okay, because you're doing something not so good, or die of guilt. No. What's past is past. If you cannot quit yet, fine. Understand that it is because of my strong attachment towards it. And then slowly it will go by itself. So there's no need for having this horrible guilt feeling or cursing yourself or none of that. But as you understand the true nature of things, things automatically fall in place. Okay. So next class we will do ahimsa. By the way, I wanted to talk about this this book. Everybody has this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a self-study book. Namokar Mantra Ek Anushilan.
It's even in the soft copy.
Yeah, I'm sure it's soft copies there, but hopefully you guys ordered books and you should be having them by now.
Yes.
The book come?
Actually, I would advise that if those of you who have not ordered, let's say if you guys are nearby in Canada or wherever, I mean, you can 2-3 people can together order for multiple years. So you get one big parcel, it's going to be much cheaper in that because they do charge you. Within India, they don't charge, it's part of the deals. They don't charge any shipping or anything for the books. But out of India, they do charge shipping.
Yep.
So, so if you're going to India, by all means, make sure you get it for all 5 years. And if you're ordering to get it here, same thing. Try to do it for multiple years. So every year you don't struggle with the books. And having books is, I think it's a good, unless you're very used to reading online. That's okay.
I had a question
Yeah.
about this ordering and paying the fees as well. When I went to pay it online, it was asking me for student number. I don't know what my student number is. Or where do I get it
Yeah.
from?
When you registered, right, you would have got a student. The first time that you registered at Paramagam, and that's how you got added into that prospective students WhatsApp group.
I
Right.
don't
At
have
that time,
that.
just search in your mailbox, right? Prabha Mohnot or PH or something. You get the first email. Or I can tell you the subject of it, right? Give me a minute. That's how I found out. Right, because there is a lot of time between the time you register, you are in that prospective group for months, and at the end of the year, you get added, and that's where you pay the payment, right? So let me
Amit, I'll
search.
connect with you afterwards if you.
Yeah,
I'll connect
so
with you
let's do
afterwards.
this, Amit. If you are clear about it, yes, of course, you can personally tell. If you're not, if you're unclear about something, the process or anything, by all means, call Apurva and confirm with him exactly how people can pay. I don't know if they have a system of paying from foreign currencies or not.
No,
So
not
far,
yet.
most
Only
people
Indian
have
rupees.
some relatives in India and reimburse or something like that.
When you call Apurva, he'll ask you, have you spoken to your group person? So
Yeah,
I called him once and said, have I spoken to Amit first? So
yeah, that's correct. Because
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
can
Amit, I would,
they
if you
they
don't
just
mind,
have
Quite a
Amit.
defense.
yeah, one point of contact, so which
Yeah,
is
Amit,
fair.
if you don't mind, if you can get me my student number, that would be great. I don't have it in my emails.
If you
So
can
who-
guide
so-
us all, Amit, then it will be helpful. We can then go and get it.
yeah, sorry, who was speaking?
Dinesh,
Arunji and
Dinesh
Dinesh,
Durar.
right?
Dinesh
Dinesh
Durar.
So
But while you're at it, ask Apurv if you give them the names and batch number, is he able to get that number for all of them for you? And then also ask them because there is still time, you know, the exams will be in July, but the assignments can be uploaded anytime now. So the way it works is that this book plus the Vitrag Vigyan one, which we have finished, you are to write like 2-page summary. So basically main points that you got out of these books, right?
Sure.
So now normally, well, first I want you guys to read this and give me a feedback, what you think. Is it an easy read? Is it something that, if we are good on time, I might be able to cover it in class. If there is not enough time to cover it in class, then what I do is I distribute pages to each student and let you guys summarize it. And then, I'll answer the questions. So somehow it is done in the group, in the class. So since this is the first semester, and also the Moodle and all that is still not set up, I think. But please check with Apurviji about it. That if we want to upload assignments, is it all set up? What do we do? So if you can get all this information in one call, that would be great.
So you're saying the assignment is to write 2-page summary for each book that we completed.
For 2 books at a time. So Vitrag Vigyan 1 and Namokar Mantra Anushilan. The summary will be for those 2 books. And same thing, your paper 1, your exam 1 will be with those 2 books. And then the second exam will be the Vitrag Vigyan 2 and this Shakahar book, which is also a self-study, this one. And then Vitrag Vigyan 3 will be by itself. So the assignment and the test go hand in hand. The tests are all going to be multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blanks. So only writing work will be the summaries. They are a little lenient. Some people were having hard time writing. So I know they've given some other choices. So if you guys care, I'll try to share that. I think you can do audio summaries or something like that. But
So this assignment,
I would say just follow this path if you can. Just write the summaries. See,
so assignment can be uploaded
As-
anytime.
what's that?
Once we have the process in place, the assignments can be uploaded now.
Yes, then they can be uploaded. So either you can type them out and make a PDF, or you can handwrite them and take pictures and make PDFs. And that way,
Sure.
it can be done.
So
So
first
that's why
exam
from
is
the
in
beginning,
July,
I
and
was
then
saying try to take notes, because then if you're already taking notes, then pretty much your assignment is done.
Arunji and Dineshji, I put in the chat, right? If you can search your mailbox, right, with this keyword, successful student registration for Parmagam Honors program, you will find the student ID. That's the subject. And you would have definitely got it, because without registration, you would not have got it added into that prospective WhatsApp group. And without getting added into that, right, you would not even know about this particular batch, right?
so this
it
email would have
starts
come
with this.
after we paid the money, is it?
No, this comes the first thing. You would have registered yourself in Paramaga Honors. That's how you would have come to know.
Okay.
Or were you referred by someone? Someone just added you into the WhatsApp group and you never registered on the Paramaga Honors site? Then go ahead and register now, and you will get this email.
I was referred by
Dinesh
Dinesh. I know
Dinesh
that.
Purar, those who shared this Teen Lok, you guys shared it in the chat. I don't know if you want to forward it in the group if you want people to see, because in the chat, I don't know if everybody got to see it. So, okay. So are we good then? So, I mean, this kind of information you can check with Arunji and post it in the group if something goes
Yeah,
well.
I'll do that.
Okay. सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्मस्वरूप सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्मस्वरूप सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्मस्वरूप निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है वंदना शत बार है। जय जिनेन्द्र।